Freak roller coaster accidents don't happen often, but when they do, they're enough to send shivers down our spines. Back in 2010 in Baton Rouge, a city located on the east bank of the mighty Mississippi River, 21-year-old Lindsay Zeno went to an amusement park to spend some well-needed time with friends, only to meet her untimely demise on a roller coaster. One moment she was laughing with friends, enjoying the thrill of it all. The next she was gone, and the screams of excitement in the air shifted to those of pure terror. Lindsay was young and had so much to give her family and community, so what exactly happened to her? Was the ride faulty, or was it simply a freak accident that could have happened to anyone? And who was held responsible for her tragic demise? This is the tragic story of Lindsay Zeno, the woman who fell from a 50-foot roller coaster. Born on the 19th of November 1988 to parents George and Karen in Lafayette, Louisiana, Lindsay was a source of joy to all who met her. She was known for her love of cooking and styling her friends' hair, and she was generally a pleasant person to be around. Her family loved her dearly, giving her the fond nickname Meek. She was a hard-working and determined young woman. After graduating from Northside High School, Lafayette, in 2007, she moved on to Remington College, where she graduated with honors in phlebotomy. At the time of the incident, Lindsay was working at Transcom, a company that specializes in customer service. On Sunday, July 11, 2010, 21-year-old Lindsay Renee Zeno went out to Dixieland, an amusement park in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, with two of her friends. Opened in 1989, the Dry amusement park sits adjacent to Blue Bayou Water Park and has a total of 26 rides with 3 roller coasters. In 2010, one of the park's roller coasters was Xtreme, the roller coaster that bright, hard-working Lindsay Zeno got on and never made it out of. Xtreme was a steel sit-down type roller coaster that was manufactured in 2000 by Morrison & Company, now known as Mohr AG, a German roller coaster manufacturer. It was sold to an amusement park in Great Britain before Dixieland purchased the ride in 2007 and brought it to Baton Rouge, where it was open to the public on the 26th of May. It only operated for 10 years and was shut down in 2017. However, in 2010, Xtreme was one of the most popular roller coasters at Dixieland. It ran on a track that was 1,391 feet in length, stood at 50.8 feet high, and reached a speed of up to 37.3 miles per hour. It was made up of single-car trains that accommodated 4 riders each. Riders were seated 2 across and 2 behind, and the car spun as it went along the track. The ride experience itself only lasted about a minute and a half, and it was a thrill for everyone who got on it. At around 4 p.m., Lindsay got on Xtreme with her 2 friends. They sat behind her while she sat in front of the car on her own. Xtreme's passenger restraints came in the form of a bar that fits between the rider's legs and were designed to hold the rider in place during the duration of the spinning ride. Lindsay and her friends were seated and fitted with their restraints. However, after the ride began, it was clear that something was terribly wrong. Lindsay could be seen struggling with her lap restraint. In the words of Tabitha Arnold, an eyewitness, "The thing that goes over your chest came up and she was trying to put it down, pull it back over her, when she made that turn. And I guess she couldn't pull it over her because the next thing you know, she was hitting the ground. Everybody was just staring. That was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life." Lindsay's restraint had clearly come undone and she couldn't get it to fit back down. The ride was moving at its usual top speed and the car was spinning, but Lindsay was not properly secured to her seat and the car was about to turn a corner. Sadly, Lindsay never got the restraint back in place as, only moments later, she fell out of her seat and vaulted about 30 feet to the ground. It all happened so fast that it was hard for those who witnessed it to track the incident with their eyes. Her friends who were sitting facing away from her certainly didn't notice when Lindsay got thrown out of the ride. When the ride finally ended and they were about to get off Xtreme, they looked over and screamed. Lindsay was gone, and there was nothing they could do about it. Lindsay Renee Zeno was rushed to Baton Rouge Hospital where she was pronounced dead. Later, the coroner would report that the cause of her death was multiple system trauma. He went on to mention that it was but one of several injuries that could have killed her after she fell. After the incident, the ride was shut down and an investigation into the case by the Louisiana Office of State Fire Marshal, the body that regulates amusement parks in Louisiana, was launched. Unfortunately, what exactly caused the death of Lindsay was a tricky case to solve. The problem lay in the fact that there were no obvious, visible problems with Xtreme. The track was still in place and all mechanical parts were working properly. There was nothing out of the ordinary with the drives or the electrical circuits of the ride. Even the ride's restraints were in proper working condition. In fact, the ride had been checked only a month prior to the incident and no violations or mechanical problems were found. Because there were no errors found with the ride, it was difficult for investigators to pinpoint exactly what had occurred. The ride operators on duty that day both confirmed that they checked Lindsay's restraints and that they were secure, and no one could be sure of what exactly happened after her passenger car left the loading station. In the end, the cause of her death was cited as inconclusive, and Dixie Landon was instructed to update Xtreme with more safety restraints. Lindsay Zeno's death wasn't the first incident involving someone falling from a ride in Dixie Landon. On June 9, 2006, Kobe Carter, a 2-year-old boy, broke his arms and legs when he fell about 25 feet from the Over the Rainbow ride. Luckily, he survived. According to the lawsuit filed by the boy's parents, the park claimed children younger than 8 or shorter than 48 inches tall could ride with a parent, but the boy's parents said no height requirements were posted when the accident happened. Whether it's a coincidence or a curse, it might interest you to note that Over the Rainbow had also been in operation for about 3 years at the time of the incident, just like Xtreme was at the time of Lindsay Zeno's death. In the aftermath of the incident, a teenage girl came out to report that weeks before, she had complained about the restraints. According to her, the ride attendant did something special to get it locked, then joked that if the ride flipped over and unlocked, they should just put their hands in the air and that gravity would hold them in place. Of course, Lindsay Zeno's parents tried suing Dixie Landon Park for failing to secure and lock the coaster, but due to the findings of the investigation, the lawsuit went nowhere. To this day, we still don't really know what happened to Lindsay Zeno. A popular theory is that the ride operators never restrained her properly due to her being overweight, and when the ride began, the restraint became undone. This theory was further pushed when, during the investigation, State Fire Marshal Butch Browning said he believed Xtreme had a weight limit of about 650 pounds. But he was unsure of this and announced that his team was waiting to meet with the manufacturers to find out the exact weight limit and determine if it was a factor in this case. However, the theory about Lindsay not being secured properly due to her weight is mere speculation and it has never been corroborated with proof. Lindsay Renee Zeno was laid to rest in Fountain Memorial Cemetery, Lafayette Parish on Saturday the 17th of June 2010. She was a beloved daughter, granddaughter, godchild, niece, cousin, godparent, and friend, and she will be deeply missed and forever remembered by those who were fortunate enough to have their lives touched by her during her brief time on Earth. After the incident, Courtney Marks, one of the 2 friends who were at Dixie Landon with Lindsay that fateful day, admitted that she had spent her days fighting tears and relying on family as she tried to cope with the nightmare of losing her friend. She stated that she would forever hold on to the lasting memories of her friend, Lindsay.